I will be doing a quick tank review for the Russian Tier 7 heavy tank, the KV-3. This vehicle, through playing it for this review, this is a very good Tier 7 heavy tank to use. It have a relatively good gun, good armor, and if you play it right, you can ricochet a good amount of rounds with the tank armor if you know how to angle the armor effectively in the tier match you're in. This vehicle, for the most part, it is a fun tier 7 heavy tank to play, just like the rest of the Soviet heavies. Let's get to the vehicle stats now. The vehicle, when it is fully upgraded, you will have 1,400 hit points. That is a lot of hit points when it comes to tier 7. You have as much hit points as the IS-3 at tier 8, with it being 1,500. If you combine the good amount of hit points with the armor and know how to angle it properly, you can ricochet a lot of damage and shells as well. This vehicle, as it is a heavy tank, it can weigh potentially up to 72 tons. My setup, it is about 68 tons, which will give me a decent horsepower to ton ratio with the top engine, which will offer me a 750 horsepower engine with a 15% chance of engine fire. My horsepower to ton ratio, it is decent at the most. My horsepower to ton ratio, it is 11 horsepower to 1 ton, which it is okay. With the 11 horsepower to ton ratio for this tank, you will have problems going over certain terrain at times, and especially hills. Whenever you go to climb a steep hills, you will slow down a lot because it is a slow vehicle. Still, with 11 horsepower to 1 ton, this vehicle, it is not a fast heavy nor a slow heavy. So having map situation awareness, it is quite important because it will take you a good amount of time for you to get one part of the map to the other. The vehicle top speed, it is 32, which means you will only reach the top speed whenever you are going downhill or whenever you are going in a straight line long enough, assuming you are on flat terrain. The vehicle hull and turret traverse, it is decent. The hull traverse, it is 18, which means enemy tanks that are fast can easily flank you and circle around you all day long. So, using the armor, it is quite important if you want to ricochet rounds. Hull front, it is 120, but it is angled. Side, 90. Rear, 90. Turret, the gun mantled here have the most armor, so it is 130 millimeters plus. The front, it is 130. Side, it is 115. Rear, 115. It is very important that you angle the armor effectively from the front. Just angle it like 30 degrees to 45 degrees effectively, and you can ricochet a lot of tier 7 and below gun easily enough. Certain tier 8 guns as well, but most tier 9 guns will be able to penetrate you. The side, if you angle the side armor effectively well enough, enemy shells will actually track you a lot, and you can soak up damage that way as well. The weak parts of the vehicle. It is the machine gun part, the hull view part here, the lower glazed plate, the vision part on the side, and the capla here as well. If you have a high enough gun pen, you can easily penetrate the observation part here and the capla as well. But as this is a big vehicle, just aim at the weak parts in the front of the vehicle. This vehicle, I find that the crew do not get injured a lot, except for the driver, the radio operator, and the loaders. So it is vital to have a repair kit and a first aid kit to get them back into action quickly. If you angle the armor effectively well enough, against tier 7, 6, and 8 tanks at times, you can ricochet a lot of damage. The gun. This is a 122mm howitzer, which have howitzer stats pretty much. The gun depression downward, it is 7 degrees, which is okay. So hill fighting with this can be a bit of an issue at times. The gun elevation for it is good, 24 degrees. On certain maps, especially city maps that have high debris, at times you can actually shoot over it at times. So take advantage of that. This howitzer here, you can potentially shoot with the proper perks and the equipment up to 5 rounds per minute. The pen, it is relatively good. AP 175 on average, APCR 217, HE 61. This gun, if you make use of it, you can actually inflict a lot of damage with this. Just like the KV-85, the IS-3, and etc. The accuracy, it is not that good, 0.46. The aiming time, it is long, so be careful. The turret traverse, it is slightly better at 22 degrees. The vehicle view range, it is not that good nor bad, being 340 meters. The radio for this tank, it is good. You have a 730 meters signal range, which most of the time you will remain in contact with the team. Let's cover the research for the vehicle now. The KV-3, when it comes to researching it, it is a relatively easy tank to go through if you went down the IS line. To give you a quick comparison, as this tank, it is based on the KV-1, let's show you the whole comparison. From the 1 to the 3, the hull, it is slightly smaller, and the hull, it is not as long. The hull, it is slightly longer a bit, just like the Tiger P hull when it was modified for the Ferdinand. If you went down the IS line, then you will have most of the equipment unlocked already. If not, then you will have to research all of the equipment on the vehicle. Interesting tidbit. you can mount all of the equipment onto the KV-3 without needing the top pair of tracks. But whenever you are going to be using additional equipment, you will have to use the top pair of tracks. From the first pair of tracks, which will offer you 16 traverse speed, the top pair here will offer you 18 traverse speed, so it is slightly better to have the top pair of tracks. I will quickly show you all of the engines. From the first to the second, there is not much of a difference. If you went through any tanks that uses the second engine, then you will have it already researched already, like I did. Which both of them have a 600 horsepower engine. The top engine is only usable on the KV-3. The 750 horsepower engine have a 50% chance of engine fire, which is okay. And this engine will give you a slightly better horsepower to ton ratio compared to the 600 horsepower engine. So it is up to personal preference if you want to research this engine or not. If you came from the T150 and not research the IS line up to the IS7 like I did, then you will have the 85mm gun and the 107mm gun already researched. The 107mm gun, it is okay on the KV-3. You will have problems penning certain tier 7, 8, and 9 with this gun. So be careful where you are shooting at. Aim at the weak parts if you want to have a chance at penning it, or just use premium rounds, because the average pen for this gun with premium rounds, it is 219. The turrets. The first one, it is okay. Whenever you are top tier, you have 100mm of armor all around. Whenever you get the top turret, I would highly recommend, if you have the free research points laying around, that you use it on the top turret and the first 122mm gun to help with the grind. From the first turret to the second, the armor value will increase by 30 in the front, side 15, and rear. Unfortunately, the traverse speed will worsen by 2, while the view range will increase by 10 meters. If you are using the 107mm gun and not research the others, then you will have slightly better gun stats with the KV-3 turret. If you went down the IS line like I did, you will have the first 122mm gun already unlocked, which is a good thing. From the first 122mm gun, D25T compared to the D25T gun, the only difference between the two is that the D25T gun, you have a slightly better rate of fire in theory. With the proper equipment and perks, you can have up to 5 rounds of fire per a minute. The pen value it is the same across both guns, the damage as well. The 122mm gun, I find most of the time, if I can actually overpen the tank, whether using regular AP or premium ammo, I can get a lot of high rolls when it comes to damage, which means, in theory, the 100mm gun and the 122 in theory can produce the same amount of damage, but I find the 122mm gun can produce more damage if you can actually get high rolls and penetrate the vehicle. The accuracy is the same, 0.46. The aiming time is the same, 0.34. The 100mm gun, it is good as well. You will have a slightly better rate of fire with the proper equipment and perks. You can bring it up to 7 rounds per a minute. The pen, it is slightly better when it comes to premium rounds. Compare to 215. Unfortunately, the HE pen, it is slightly worse. The damage output, it is okay, but in theory, you can actually do as much damage with the 100mm gun as the 122, but it is up to you. The accuracy, it is slightly better, 0.42. The aiming time, it is better, 2.9, which is actually long still, but it is slightly better compared to the 122. Through my experience with this tank, I find the 122mm gun, it is better to use on the KV-3 because this same gun, through all of its models, it is used on the rest of the Russian heavy tanks. To research the KV-3, it will cost you 53k research points and about 2.5 million credits. The good thing about this tank is that after having the 107mm gun, you can automatically research the KV-3 because you will have most of the equipment already researched for the KV-4, except for certain equipment that it uses specifically. On the KV-4, if you went down the IS line and the KV-3, you will have to research the top engine, the tracks, the top gun, and the turret. Let's cover the pros, the cons, and how are you going to be using the KV-3. The pros and cons for the KV-3. This vehicle matchmaking, it is between tier 7 up to tier 9. Whenever you are in a tier 7 up to tier 8 match maximum, you can do relatively well enough if you know what you are doing most of the time. Tier 9s, whenever you are in a tier 9 match, assume most of the time tier 9s can penetrate you most of the time, as most of the time they can penetrate tier 9 and below easily enough as well with tier 10, assuming they are using premium rounds, or if their gun have enough pen to penetrate tier 10s most of the time. So how are you going to be using this vehicle in a game? this vehicle, as it is a frontline vehicle, determine the map and the tier matchmaking you will be having. In this vehicle, you will be playing it as a frontline heavy tank, as a support vehicle, as a flanking vehicle at certain times, and determine what equipment you have equipped to it. You can technically play this as a medium to a front line distance sniper as well. Let's cover the equipment you are going to be using on the KV-3. Let's cover the equipment you will be using on the KV-3. The ventilation would be a good idea if you want to have a permanent crew skill bonus by 5%. Also, this will improve the tank performance by a tiny bit as well. While I was driving the KV-3, I find that it did not get ammo whack as much, so you may want to use this if it get ammo whacked a lot if you are using the KV-3. The toolbox, it will allow you to get the repairs done faster by 25%, assuming the crew members have the repair perk already, and with this already, the repairs will be done faster, which is quite handy, especially in a heavy tank, assuming you are in the open field already. The large caliber gun rammer, I find it is a must if you want to decrease the loading time with any gun that uses a larger caliber gun. The spall liner, it is handy if you want to increase the protection against ramming and HE. Also, it will increase the chance of crew injuries from them getting injured by 30%. So this is handy if you want to use it. This here, fill tanks with CO2. I never actually found a use for it, but I would assume it is useful on other tanks. Torsion bar, you can use it if you want, but on the KV-2, you can mount all of the equipment onto the tank without making it overloaded, assuming you are not using equipment onto it with the first pair of tracks. If you want to use the torsion bar and the equipment added on top of it weighted, then you can use this without getting the second pair of tracks. It is up to you. The enhanced gunning drive will decrease the aiming time by 0.1 seconds, so this can be quite handy at times. The cyclone filter, this can be handy at times, but most of the time I never had my engine damaged when I was using the KV-3. This vehicle, if the engine it is damaged, then this will prove handy at times. But most of the time, when I was going through the KV-3, I found the engine do not get damaged easily enough as it is in the rear. Assuming enemy tanks do not get to my sides, or if I am playing carefully enough. To increase the increase the view range, you can use the coated optics or the binocular telescopes. It is up to your personal play style. This is a big tank, and being a heavy tank as well, you would be wasting a camo net as well if you mount it onto the vehicle. Let's cover the ammo layout you will be using in the KV-3. Let's cover the consumables you are going to be using in the KV-3. I would go with a first aid kit to treat a crew member injury. You can switch this out with a larger first aid kit if you must. The repair kit to repair a module damage or two tracks. Or you could replace this with a larger repair kit, which just like the first aid kit, you will have a permanent plus 10% whenever it comes to repair speed or preventing crew members injuries by 15%, which is quite handy. The third slot, it is up to you what you want to use. The manual fire extinguisher, it would be a good idea to use it still, as you can use it whenever you want to use it. The automatic fire extinguisher is a good idea to use still if you can afford it still. The extra combat rations, you can use this if you want, as it will give you a extra 10% crew skill bonus as well. This vehicle, assuming you are using the 122mm gun, you will never ever run out of ammo. The 100mm gun, assuming you play carefully well enough, you will never run out of ammo in a match with the tank. This 122mm gun on the KV-3 will allow you to carry up to 38 rounds of ammo. My ammo I would use when it comes to distributing it would be 28 rounds of AP, as most vehicle parts I can pen it with a regular APCR. I would carry at least 10 rounds. So in case if I encounter a tier 8 or a tier 9 vehicle, I can penetrate it easy enough. HE, I would carry at least 5 because I can reset cap if I must, or to shoot at a semi-armored target. I have 2 replays to show you on the KV-3. One to show you the potential on average on average damage that you can do in the tank if you are playing it carefully enough. And the second will be how much damage you can potentially block with the KV-3 if you are playing it carefully enough and taking advantage of the angled armor. Let's get to that replay now. This replay, I will show you how you can use the KV-3 moderately well enough and do a good amount of damage most of the time when you're driving the KV-3. This match, I am platooning with a clan member. Right now I am looking where people are going. I am heading to Tank Alley to support my team. This is mostly a tier 7 and 8 match with some tier 6s on both sides. While coming here, I ricochet around. I am angling my armor just in case if they are going to be shooting at me. At this point of the match, seeing the hill will be potentially in our hand and having sufficient amount of people in the 7-8 line at G8 area, I began to do a flanking movement here to help the team out so they can push. I am sticking to the buildings, making sure I am not seen. I want to have that surprise. That was a good high roll. Unfortunately, I was spotted by the E25. I have the gun aim at the E25. Now I am being careful as I poke out here. The hill is potentially ours, and I have the 29 occupied. I am falling back. The ARL is helping me out. I got a lucky shot there. I haven't lost that much, only about 500 hit points, so I'm doing good. A tiger shot me from the hill there. Pay attention to the T-54 Model 1 there. The one issue with the gun pen, on average it is like 175. So right there, I had a problem penning that T-54 armor right there. If I used premium ammo, I may have penetrated the armor. I am falling back a bit, seeing we're not in a good situation. I got a side shot. Now I am a sitting duck here. I am trying to turn my turret quickly enough to shoot the side of the to shoot the side of the T-54, but he angled his armor, so I cannot shoot the side. And finally, that tiger finished me off on the hill. This match, what they lost for us. Here, I did a good amount of damage, 2,242 damage, and I blocked under 900 damage. Let it go to the next replay. Before I go to the next replay, I actually gotten in the top 5 damage dealers on my team. So most of the time, if you play this tank carefully, you can potentially do a lot of damage. But you have to know what tanks you are shooting at and aim at the weak part of the vehicle. In the next replay, I will show you how you can angle the armor effectively and block a lot of damage. This replay, I will show you how you can use the KV-3 moderately well enough and do a good amount of damage most of the time when you're driving the KV-3. This match, I am platooning with a clan member. Right now I am looking where people are going. I am heading to Tank Alley to support my team. This is mostly a tier 7 and 8 match, with some tier 6s on both sides. While coming here, I ricocheted around. I am angling my armor, just in case if they are going to be shooting at me. At this point of the match, seeing the hill will be potentially in our hand, and having sufficient amount of people in the 7-8 line at G8 area, I began to do a flanking movement here to help the team out so they can push. I am sticking to the buildings, making sure I am not seen. I want to have that surprise. That was a good high roll. Unfortunately, I was spotted by the E25. I have the gun aim at the E25. Now I am being careful as I poke out here. The hill is potentially ours, and I have the 29 occupied. I am falling back. The ARL is helping me out. I got a lucky shot there. I haven't lost that much, only about 500 hit points, so I'm doing good. A tiger shot me from the hill there. Pay attention to the T-54 Model 1 there. The one issue with the gun pen, on average it is like 175. So right there, I had a problem penning that T-54 armor right there. If I used premium ammo, I may have penetrated the armor. I am falling back a bit, seeing we're not in a good situation. I got a side shot. Now I am a sitting duck here. I am trying to turn my turret quickly enough to shoot the side of the T-54, but he angled his armor, so I cannot shoot the side. And finally, that tiger finished me off on the hill. This match was a loss for us. Here I did a good amount of damage, 2,242 damage, and I blocked under 900 damage. Let it go to the next replay. Before I go to the next replay, I actually gotten in the top 5 damage dealers on my team. So most of the time, if you play this tank carefully, you can potentially do a lot of damage. But you have to know what tanks you are shooting at and aim at the weak part of the vehicle. In the next replay, I will show you how you can angle the armor effectively and block a lot of damage. Let's do a brief recap on the KV-3. The KV-3, assuming if you know how to play it properly, you can do moderately well in it if you know how to angle the armor and take advantage of the terrain as well. I generally find the loaders, the driver, and the operator, the radio operator, can be damaged easily enough, so be careful about that. This vehicle, you can sort of hill fight with it if you must, but be careful with it. If you want to make the maximum use of the armor of the vehicle, angle the armor. It is very important if you want to increase the chance of bouncing enemy shells. The tank itself, as long as you aim at the enemy weak spot, you can do moderately well in it. This vehicle, as long as you are top tier in a tier 7 or in a tier 8 match, you can do moderately well in it if you play it very carefully. But be careful whenever you are in a tier 9 match, as most vehicles can penetrate you with ease. Overall, I find the KV-3 to be a good vehicle to use, assuming you know how to use it properly within a match. I hope that you learn a thing or two about the KV-3 and how to use it properly. If you like this video, leave a like, a comment, or even follow my channel as well. Good luck on the battlefield, everyone.